couple of weeks ago, we did a tutorial on using JAWS with Windows. Now, JAWS is, of course, the screen reader made by Freedom Scientific. It's been around for about 25 years. There are several choices when it comes to screen readers for the blind, for computer users. So, if you have an iPhone, you might use VoiceOver. That's your screen reader for the iPhone. And if you're an Android user, there's a screen reader for that platform as well. It's called TalkBack. Google Chrome, the actual Chromebooks have a built-in screen reader. It's called Chrome. So that's the access for that platform. What else? Oh, we got Voice View for the Fire tablets. That's another screen reader. And of course, VoiceOver for the Mac is the Mac's solution to screen access. So PC, we're kind of lucky with the PC. We got a lot of choices. We have JAWS, of course, that we went over. There is another program called NVDA, that stands for Non-Visual Desktop Access. And NVDA has been around for quite a while. It's a completely free screen reader. You have to go and download it and install it. But a little closer to home, there's a solution that comes right out of the box with your Windows PC, and it's called Narrator. Narrator has been around for all the way back since, I think, Bob will probably correct me on this, but I think it started in Windows XP. And it's kind of cool because, back, I got on YouTube earlier and I was trying to find a sound clip of the voice that came in the Windows XP. It was called Microsoft Sam. Unfortunately, all the clips I found were not family friendly. We'll put it that way. So not going to play those here for you today. But Kevin, did you ever hear Microsoft Sam, the old XP?
Yes, I think I have. I know I certainly run across something very similar when I had Vista years ago. And
right.
There was a narrator on there, and it talked kind of like this. It
sounded
was
like
really slow.
Yeah. Awful.
Like nails on chalkboard. So I remember one time I did not have a screen reader, and I was about to install one, and I think I used Narrator for a couple of minutes just to get by, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is very clunky. And
yeah, I'm not plugging it. I'll just say, if you want to hear it, get on YouTube, look up Microsoft Sam.
Narrator dialogue.
That's perfect.
He knows. He knows.
He knows. Well, Narrator's come a long way. Let me get over here. I'm going to go ahead and share my whole screen so folks that can see what's going on.
Meeting controls.
And I'm going to turn JAWS off.
Unloading JAWS. Mute. Currently unmuted. Button.
And then in a moment here, we'll give the computer a chance to get everything out of memory. And so let's talk about Narrator. Let's talk a little bit about using a computer from the keyboard. So unfortunately, if you're blind like us and you're using a computer from the keyboard, you're not using the mouse anymore. So everything is done from the keyboard. Couple of keys to keep in mind here. I thought I had a desktop keyboard over here, but I don't think I do. Couple of keys to keep in mind is the bottom left corner. If you're using a desktop keyboard, you have a couple of keys over there that you'll be using. Bottom left corner is the control key, and that's how you silence the speech. It works both in JAWS and Narrator. To the right of the control key is a key. It's called the Windows key, and that key is used in combination with other keyboard commands to turn on Narrator. You can use the Windows key to get you into the start menu. Windows M will minimize all your applications, put you on the desktop. Windows D will do the same thing. So those are all Windows commands. Windows T will take you to the taskbar, and you can use those even if you're a sighted user and you're on a computer. You can do all of that stuff, and it'll work just fine. I can't stress enough how important it is to learn your keyboard commands if you're going to find yourself using a screen reader and using Windows, because regardless of what screen reader you use, if you know how to use a computer from the keyboard, you can do that. So what's really cool about Narrator now, it's like I said, it's come a long way since Windows XP. Is if you go out and if you were to go out and buy a new laptop and you get it home and you pull it out of the box and plug it up and turn it on, as soon as it got through all the boot up sequence, you could press Control, Windows, and the Enter key.
Narrator heading level 1. Welcome to Narrator.
That's a nice, crisp sounding voice right there. Sean, are you with us? Sean?
Meeting unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know what happened there. What did you hear me say last?
I heard welcome to Narrator.
Okay. All right. So I was just saying that, if you have a brand new computer and you turn on Narrator with that Control Windows Enter, what's really neat now is a brand new computer, Narrator can take you all the way through the setup process. So you can use it to set the language and all the setup process that you have to go through with a new computer. Connect to the Wi-Fi, perhaps log into a Microsoft account. It'll talk you through all of that. And another thing is that if you have to restore your computer, you see, it used to be back in the day, here I go aging myself, that if your Windows, say XP or Vista or 7, if it got messed up or there was a problem and you had to reinstall Windows, you basically have to turn it, take it to a store and let them do it, because there was just no accessible way to install Windows. Well, there were a couple of ways, but they weren't easy. We'll say that much. But really, just for the standard, home user, if you wanted to install Windows or format your drive and reinstall it, you had to have somebody else do that. Well, not anymore. Now you can restore your computer and have speech all the way through it. So really cool. So here we are.
Heading level 1. Welcome to Narrator.
And if you press that Control Windows Enter, you will probably get right here where I'm at. All depending, if you're in the latest version of Windows 10. So let me tab here. I'm going to tab through the options here and just let you kind of hear what's here, and we'll talk about it as well. So
minimize button, quick start button. Okay,
so the first option is quick start, and Microsoft is kind of taking a page from Apple, because if you use a Mac and you turn on VoiceOver for the first time, it'll walk you through a tutorial. Well, if I hit space on there, so we'll get the same exact thing.
Narrator. This guide shows you the basics of using Narrator. Narrator reads aloud what's on your screen so you can use that information to navigate your PC. To turn it on or off, press and hold the Windows logo key, then press Ctrl and Enter. Every page in this guide will be read to you automatically. To stop reading, press Ctrl. Then, use the up or down arrow keys to keep reading from where narrator left off. When you're ready, press Enter on the Start Guide button to go to the next screen. Navigation landmark, Start Guide button.
So there we go. You know, she'll right from the start, she or he, I have a female voice. There are some male voices that we'll go through here in a little bit, but she'll walk you through on how to use narrator, how to get around your computer, you know, right here. So that's pretty cool.
Go to
So I'm gonna
Exiting narrator.
close that and reopen it so I can get out of the guide.
Narrator
Before I go on, do I have any questions so far? If you'd like to ask a question and you are dialed in on the telephone, if you press *9, that will raise your virtual hand. You'll be recognized and you can ask your question. If you're on the computer, Control Y will raise your hand and we'll recognize you there to ask your question. So if we got any questions so far?
Wendy has her hand up. Go ahead, Wendy.
Hey, hello.
Yes, hello.
Is this Sean or Kevin?
This is Sean.
Both.
Sean.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. Windows Control Enter or Control Windows Enter?
Yes,
So
it's
open up that way.
yes. Control Windows Enter.
I'm
And-
trying to write this down.
And so,
For
and just
myself.
remember, if okay, so two bits of information here. If you're on a desktop keyboard, the bottom left corner key on that keyboard is Control, and then to the right of that is Windows, and then you have Alt, and then the space bar. If you're on a laptop keyboard, it's a little bit different. And I'm not speaking for all laptops, but I will say that generally on a laptop keyboard, you have the Control key in the bottom left corner. To the right of that, you have a key that's usually called FN or function. And then you have the Windows key and Alt key and spacebar. So usually on a laptop keyboard, you'll have 4 keys to the left of the spacebar. But however, it still is Control Windows Enter to turn on narrator.
Control Windows Enter.
Yes.
I hope she can read this when she gets back. Okay.
All righty. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah. And also, it can be helpful too sometimes if you have bump dots placed strategically on certain buttons on the keyboard, which I do even now on my laptop keyboard. So maybe if those of you out there listening, if you need some bump dots for your keyboard to help you to learn the keyboard, just let us know. We can get those out in the mail to you.
Yeah, those are really helpful, especially if you're just learning how to use the keyboard the first time. You know, most of us, you know, type or hunt and peck type or whatever it is, but you know, typing on the keyboard and then using all these different modifier keys is a lot different because a lot of times people just, you know, they don't use them if they're used to using a mouse to use a computer. So good point, Kevin. All right, so here we are. Oh wait, do I have any more questions, Rebecca? Okay, guess not.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Quick minimize.
All right, so I'm back here to the initial screen of narrator. And so I'm gonna hit tab here.
Quick start.
There's the quick start button. That's the guide we went to earlier. And just know that if you turn on narrator with Control Windows Enter, hit tab once, you should be on that quick start guide. And you can hit space and go through that whole tutorial. It'll walk you through everything you need to know to get started.
Narrator guide button.
The next button across here is the narrator guide button. This will take you to a website and take you to basically the manual. So there's, I don't know, 10 or 12 chapters there that walks you through the whole process of using Narrator.
What's new button.
The What's New button. So every time Windows posts an update and that's installed, there will be changes. There will be features that are added to Narrator. I'll tell you right now that I want to say about a year or two ago, they came out with an update that added Braille support. So you can use a Braille display with Narrator now. I have that connected right now as well. Also, they will add new features. Quite a bit of stuff that's been added. And I'll tell you what, it works really well. If I didn't have JAWS or other products, and say I went to a friend's house and I wanted to get on their computer, and as long as it's Windows 10, I can hit that Control Windows Enter, and boom, I'm in business.
Mm-hmm. Or what if you have somebody in your family that can see that wouldn't use a screen reader, but they're having problems with their computer, and you need to help them? Well, then there you go. You can enable it and get into the computer and help work out some of those technical issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Settings button.
Here we go. We got to get into the settings here.
Settings window. Scan off. Turn on Narrator. Toggle switch on.
And so I'm just going to go through a couple of these. I hit space there to get into the settings screen. The first button here is to turn on Narrator.
Link. Open Narrator Home. Link. View the complete guide to Narrator online. Allow the shortcut key to start Narrator checkbox checked. So
there's just the checkbox that allows the Control Windows Enter to turn on Narrator, if I can talk. That's a default, and it's set that way. So
start Narrator after sign in for me checkbox unchecked. Start Narrator before sign in for everyone checkbox unchecked.
These are just settings that control when Narrator starts. If there's a logon screen, you can have it start then.
Show Narrator home when Narrator starts checkbox checked.
That just allows it to show that start screen that we went through a moment ago.
Minimize. Choose a voice.
Go over here. Oh,
Microsoft
there it is.
Zira, English, United States, combo box, collapsed.
Okay, so here are our voices. We have 3 different voices to choose from.
Microsoft Mark, English. Link. Choose a voice. Microsoft Zira, choose a
Microsoft Linda, English, Canada, 2 of 7, selected.
There we go.
Microsoft David, English, United States, 1 of 7.
Very JAWS-like.
It really is. So we got David.
Microsoft Linda.
Linda.
Microsoft Zira.
Sierra.
Microsoft Mark, English, United States.
Microsoft Richard.
Microsoft David.
Microsoft Zira.
There we go. I don't know. I kind of like Linda.
Microsoft.
I think I heard it mentioned Canadian.
Yeah.
Microsoft Linda, English.
Oh, let's try out Linda here.
Link. Add more voices. Change voice speed. Slider at 8.
Okay, so as I tab through here, these are just different settings that control like how fast it talks, punctuation, how much is spoken.
Change voice volume. Slider at 100.
Volume, other things like that.
Lower.
You can change these. You can leave them alone. It's kind of more usually once you get used to using it, you might want to say, hey, I want this to talk a little bit faster because it's a little bit slow. So let's get back out of here.
Select where you hear now. Desktop, Edge selected. Supports multiple selection.
Okay, so I use the Windows M key to get me to the desktop. And like we did with JAWS a couple of weeks ago, really, this thing is pretty hands-off. I mean, once you learn how to use Windows from the keyboard, like I said, it really doesn't matter which screen reader you use. They're all gonna work about the same. There may be slight differences on how things are spoken, but for the most part, it'll work the same way. Something else I wanted to mention here that's kind of interesting is that Narrator has, it's called a mouse mode. And I have that currently turned on. And if I put my finger down here on the trackpad, it'll play this little popping sound. And it actually pans left to right according to where I am on the screen.
Zoomtext 2020, 19 of 21, selected.
And it will speak the icons as I come to them as well.
So it's kind of similar to VoiceOver, the way the VoiceOver
Kinda.
reads items on the glass when you touch it.
Yeah. It's not there. It's not totally there yet, but I mean, who knows?
You never know.
So that's one thing I've noticed so far that's different with this. Let's see here. It does work well with Zoom.
Settings. Setting, meeting controls window, mute, currently unmuted, button.
So there I'm in the Zoom window here. I can tab through these controls.
Audio settings, split button, stop my video, button, video settings, split, security, split.
There we go. It reads all the controls in Zoom. That works really well. Any questions so far? Okay.
Bob has a question. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah. When you hit that settings button in the Narrator home, that actually opened the Microsoft settings, the Windows settings app to the Narrator settings page.
Right.
So you can get to those settings with another screen reader if you want to.
Yes.
Although I must say, Narrator works better than anything else in that settings app, even better than JAWS.
You're right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. In fact, I was going to mention that. And if I press the Windows key and the letter U.
Settings window, search box, find a setting, edit.
And it drops me right there in the search box. That's one thing I really like about Windows 10. And just for information, Windows U will take you to basically the accessibility settings, and then Windows I will take you to the settings screen. But both of them will drop you right into the search box. You can type in, say something you were looking for in settings, and boom, it'll take you right there.
Display, 1 of 6, level 2, selected.
So let's talk a little bit about the different items that are in this. They used to call it access control, universal access control, this screen. And Narrator is one of the options in here. But there are other options. If you have some vision, if you're low vision, there are some things in here that you might like to know about.
Cursor and pointer, 2 of 6, level 2.
Okay, so the first option is cursor and pointer. Kevin, what's the most common thing people talk about losing on the screen?
Their mouse pointer.
Right.
I used to have that problem when I was losing my sight years ago.
2 of
What I would always do is I would try to take the mouse pointer to the very top left corner of the screen when
so you could find it.
So I could find it, yeah. Cost me a lot of hours of frustration.
Y'all don't know how many times I hear people say, I can't find my mouse pointer. I lose my mouse pointer. Well, if you press Windows U and you go in here and go to cursor
change
settings,
pointer size, slider at 1.
and that's the first option there.
Change pointer size, slider at 1, 2, 3.
I'm using the right arrow.
5, 6, 5.
Hey, Rebecca, are you there? I put her on the spot.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Sorry.
can you see my mouse pointer?
Yeah.
Is it bigger?
Yeah.
8.
Move it.
Touch.
Okay, no, it's
Make
not. It's small
cursor
now.
and
Okay, I didn't know if it would show it or not.
show. Change cursor thickness. White.
There's like 4 mouse pointers on the screen right now. I'm like, wait, which one's his?
Change pointer size.
Okay, let's go.
11. 4. 1.
Okay, so pointer size, we can change that in there. The second option
White.
here
1 of 4.
is to change the color of the pointer size, the pointer. So I can
Black.
do black,
2
white.
of inverted.
I can
3
invert
of
it
custom.
or do a custom.
White. Change cursor thickness. Slider at 1. Show visual feedback around the touch points when I touch the screen. Toggle switch on.
Now that's related to if you have a touch screen, like a laptop with a touch screen on it. So that may or may not work for you. But yeah, this screen here is for changing the cursor and the pointer. Of course, the cursor is what moves when you type. The pointer is what you use to move around with the mouse. So let's go back here.
Cursor and pointer. 2 of 6 level 2.
And we'll go down to the next item.
Magnifier. 3 of 6 level.
So Windows, if you didn't know, has a built-in magnifier as well. And if you use, if it's turned on,
Change pointer size.
hang on.
Color. Turn on magnifier. Toggle switch. Off.
So it's off right now. I can hit space.
Turn on magnifier. Toggle switch. On.
Turns that on. I believe if I do Windows and plus, that makes that bigger. But I don't think you would see it through the Zoom.
Now,
Turn on.
one set of
Bigger.
commands wouldn't negate the other one, right, Sean?
Meaning?
Well, if you have a key combination that's for narrator, similar to that of magnifier.
Right. So Windows plus and minus will make it larger and smaller. I think what you're talking about is caps.
Speed increase to 45. Speed.
Caps and plus and minus will make the speed faster with narrator.
Link. Turn on mag.
You did say it made it bigger?
Yes, it's huge right now. 1300%.
Okay, let's go down a little bit.
We're
Where are we at?
these levels. We're back to normal.
Okay. So yeah, Windows Magnifier. Give it a try if you haven't.
Turn on mag.
Might help you out there. Next item down.
Color filters. 4 of.
Color filters. I think I haven't spent a lot of time in here, but I think you can filter out certain colors that may be hard for you to see.
High contrast. 5.
High contrast just gives a lot of, what would you say, Kevin? It makes it more like the colors contrast.
Mm-hmm. It used to be that when I was more visual with Windows, my favorite setting was high contrast black, because it would invert the contrast on the screen. So if I was in a Microsoft Word document, the screen would become black and the text would become white, and that would really pop out at me, and I was able to see what I was writing. So I think that makes universal changes to the entire screen layout or for the computer.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, they tried, it was back when I had some vision. I remember with the old CCTVs back then, I was the same way. I'd have a black screen with white text. It was huge.
Yeah.
but I remember it really popped out like that.
The only problem is if I looked at a photograph online, for example, with that inverted contrast, it would look very distorted.
And that's an interesting thing that they have resolved now, especially with the iPhone and with the Zoomtext. So Zoomtext is the screen enlargement software. It's a commercial product where Magnifier and all this stuff is free. It's built into Windows. The commercial products, they are a lot better. So if you're a low vision user and you know, the Windows accessibility is just not working for you, you might, you know, give Zoomtext a try. But all that to be said, they have what's called now Smart Invert. So Zoomtext has Smart Invert, and also you have Smart Invert on the iPhone. And what it does basically is it'll invert the text on the screen, but pictures are normal. So it leaves those alone.
High contrast.
Okay.
Narrator, 6 of 6 level.
There's our narrator screen that Bob was talking about. And we can get to the settings all there.
Turn on narrator, toggle switch, on.
There we go. So that's that screen I was in earlier when I was in the settings screen after just turning narrator on.
Audio, 1 of 2. Change device volume.
Here are audio settings. If you have a hearing impairment, you can change different things in here to make it easier to hear the computer.
Closed captions.
We can turn closed captioning on if it's available in a program, or you know, say a movie or YouTube. Those will be shown. You can control and what color they are, that kind of thing.
Speech, 1 of 4.
Speech. So the settings in here control not only Cortana, which is Microsoft's assistant, but also will let you do dictation. So like you might do on your iPhone, you can also do dictation here on the computer. I'm going to show that in just a moment.
Keyboard, 2 of. Mouse, 3. Eye control.
Keyboard, settings, mouse, and what's called eye control. I really am not familiar with this. I think what it's for is, you know, quadriplegics, where they can control the computer from eye movement. I'm not 100% on that, but if that's the case, that's really cool stuff there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back up here. And before I move on, do I have any questions?
Looks like you're good to go.
Okay. All right, let's go up here.
Mouse, key, speech.
To speech.
Link. Turn on speech recognition, toggle switch, off.
So that's turned off right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on.
Turn on speech recognition, toggle switch, on.
And so there is a setup process. I did it earlier today. It pulls up a little wizard that it'll walk you through, and it just basically has you pick what if you have a headset mic, you know, what your microphone is. It'll have you read a sentence so it makes sure it can understand you. And then it gives you a choice of either activating speech recognition manually or with a wake word. So a wake word might be something like wake up or go to sleep. I have it set to manually, and the way I turn it on and off is with the control and the Windows key. So it's just control. Windows will activate this and deactivate it. So I'm going to go back over here to the desktop.
Desktop, Zoomtext.
And this works. There is an add-on that you have to get. It's called Dictation Bridge. And if you go to dictationbridge.com, you can download this add-on that will work both with JAWS and NVDA. And it does work pretty well with Narrator as well. So it's really made to work better with JAWS and NVDA. This is a free product. So once again, it's dictationbridge.com. You can download and you can read more about that, and you know how this all works together. But press Control Windows, Start Notepad.
Untitled, Notepad window, text editor, editing.
Hello, comma. My name is Sean Keene, period.
My.
And let's see if it worked.
Period. I have hello. My name is Sean Keenan.
Not bad.
Enid. Well, it's
Enid.
close.
Let's try again. Hello, comma. My name is Kevin, period.
Kevin. Hello, my name is Kevin.
Wow.
It likes your name better.
I think it was just your last name that tripped it up. That's really impressive.
So let's see here. Let's do this.
Notepad. Ask me.
Start Outlook. Oops. Start Outlook.
Opening Outlook window. Inbox.
Control N.
Selected.
Oops.
Desktop.
That didn't work.
Inbox.
But we'll go ahead and do this.
Untitled message.
One thing you have to remember in here is that you have to activate it and deactivate it, because sometimes you start saying other things, it's going to try to interpret that.
Kevin Higgins. See subject, edit.
Testing.
Untitled message, subject, edit, testing. Untitled.
Hello, comma. Kevin, we are on the Zoom meeting currently, period.
Testing, message, editing. Currently. Hello, Kevin, we are on the Zoom meeting currently.
Nice.
And a sent it.
No, yet. 9.
And it's sent.
Mm-hmm.
Close Outlook. I think that worked. Maybe.
Computer. 19. Not. Computers for the blind. Task.
There we go.
And
so
what was the combination to get it to do that?
Which part?
Well, to do a dictation. What was there?
So I'm using the manual way of activating it. So I'm pressing Control and Control Windows.
Control Windows.
And that's it. Let me try something here. I'm gonna press Control Windows, and then I want you to say Open Notepad.
Open Notepad.
Okay, I was making sure. It seemed like it was responding to you, so I wasn't sure if it was or not.
Meeting controls, settings, meeting control.
So yeah, that's
menu.
really neat. How you can, how all that works.
Open.
There. Keep forgetting to turn it off. I'm gonna start using that a little bit more, I think.
That's really remarkable that is now part of that you can do it a number of ways. Because going back to our discussion earlier about Windows and XP and Vista, I mean, that's pretty antiquated compared to where they're at now.
Yeah, and this is what's built into Windows. So there are commercial products like Dragon Dictation and all that, and the fact that this is free. I mean, this all comes with Windows. You got a screen reader, you got dictation, you got a little bit of. I mean, there are definitely more commands. Like we're open programs and closed programs. I mean, there's definitely more you can do just with your voice.
You could almost argue that maybe we could thank Apple in part for some of these improved features, right? Because Apple kind of set the bench, really hard, really high, the mark pretty high. So.
Hey guys.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy has a question. Hi, Tracy.
Hey.
Hello.
I'm curious, how did you get to those settings?
Which settings?
The one where you were arrowing all over the place to show us all that stuff.
Windows U.
Windows U?
So Windows U will take you directly to the settings for all the different accessibility settings that are built into Windows.
Okay.
I believe it's called Ease of Access Center. Now, I'll stop my screen share, but if you press Windows I, that will take you to what used to be called the control panel.
Yeah.
That's basically the new control panel. It takes you there, it drops you in a box. Here, let me get this back to Sharon.
Meeting controls window.
Okay. You don't hear that now?
Mm-hmm.
Desk.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to press Windows I.
Settings window. Turn on speech recognition. Toggle switch.
Now I was...
Link.
It took me right back to where I was. I'm going to turn the...
Turn on speech recognition. Toggle switch. Off.
Okay. So I'm going to close this screen.
Task.
I'm going to press Windows I.
Settings window. Search box. Find a setting. Edit.
Okay, so it drops me right in this search box. I can type, let's type, I'm going to type time.
Suggestions. Change the time zone.
And I just, what I did there is I typed time and then I just hit the down arrow.
Oh, okay.
Date and time. Change the time zone. 1 of 6.
And these are the options that came up from typing in time.
Wow.
They just really made it easy to find really anything you want as far as the settings go. Does that answer your question?
So so it brings you into control panel?
Yes. Windows I and Windows 10 takes you into the control panel.
Yeah, it opens up a dialog box.
I believe.
Okay, okay. So you could even get to like a fax or whatever that's in control panel from...
Sure, anything.
Okay, okay.
Show all results. OneDrive. Search box. Find a setting. Edit. T.
Okay, so...
T.
I don't know. Give me something to type in here.
You mentioned fax. You want to type in that?
You said fax? Like FA?
A printer or printer.
Okay, printer. Let's see, P. And
Suggestions.
Really, you can just type a few letters as well. You don't have to type in the whole thing. So I just typed PRIN.
Printers and scanners.
I hit the down
1
arrow.
of 6.
It says printers
Selected.
and scanners.
Use the print screen key to launch screen snipping. Let Windows manage my default printer. 3 of 6. Add a printer or scanner. 4 of 6.
So when I find the one I want, I just hit enter.
Add a printer or scanner button.
Takes me right there.
Wow. Wow, that's cool.
I'll show you something else too. If you press the Windows key, it takes you to the start menu. Okay.
Start window. Search box. Edit.
So this works a lot. This works really the same way. If I type like Word.
Alt tab item. 1 of 4. Selected. Find results in apps. Word. App.
So it said Word app. If I down arrow.
Find results in apps. WordPad. App. AI2 _ sample. AI2. Find results in search the web. 3 of 5.
So it's just, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah.
That's what I do. Yeah.
But what about, like I wanted to find computer, but I tried typing computer in the search box, but it kept giving me computer management instead of computer, so I could get to a drive because I was putting, I needed to get to, you know, like a flash drive or something.
1 app. Press right to switch.
So what I think what you would probably do is type computer and then down arrow.
Oh, okay.
Results in apps. 2 of computer management. app,
Okay.
settings, app, camera, app, Amazon.com.
Now,
task.
If that doesn't if that doesn't work,
Uh-huh.
you can also do Windows E. E is an echo.
Uh-huh.
File Explorer window, desktop.
And it takes you right there to your where you can. It's called the File Manager.
Yeah.
So that's how you get to your drives. And this is just me. If I want to go to my C drive, I do it the old school way. I'll do Windows R.
Run dot.
Type C:.
Windows, C window, table items view, has 10 rows, 4 columns.
And it takes me right there to my C drive, but that's just me.
Okay. Okay.
I found the Windows E especially a good function, because sometimes I'll have a file, I'll save it, and I'm like, where did I put that at? I can go into that box, into the Windows view there, and do a search for that file and pull it up and then put it where I want it.
Right. And yeah, that's a good point, because you can hit Windows E.
File Explorer.
And then Control E.
Search edit box.
And it takes you.
Search box.
So the Control
edit.
E takes you to the search field. And then you can type in any file you're looking for, and it works the same way as all these other searches.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about if you want, it used to be Windows E, I think, that if you wanted to change your folders into all, a list instead of all the details.
Right.
And, left and right and all that stuff. I just want it all in one list. Well, I used to do that there, but now Windows 10 is different, seem like.
Well, the difference is they've made all the menus ribbons. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. You sound really excited. All right.
Sitting narrator.
I'm going to pull up JAWS, because I know that's what you use.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to show you something really nice. Come on, JAWS.
JAWS Home Use Edition.
There we go.
JAWS
So
is
let's-
sleepy.
It was. It's like, you're not using me. You
Yeah.
don't like me no more.
PC cursor.
Hold on.
Desktop. Full. Meeting controls. File Explorer. Unavailable.
Here, let's close that.
Taskbar.
Windows E.
File Explorer. Items view list box. Slower. Items. Slower.
Okay. So,
File tab button drop down grid as pop up. Upper ribbon. Ribbon tabs tab. Home tab as pop up. 1 of 3. Alt 5. Slower. Leaving menus. Leaving ribbons. Customized quick access. Item.
let's see. Alt H.
Menu C. Lower ribbon. Clipboard toolbar. Copy the selected items to the.
So yeah,
Leave it.
ribbon doesn't look too pretty, does it?
No.
All right. So if you do the JAWS key, which is the 0 on the keypad, and the letter V,
Leaving ribbons. Quick settings. Explorer from dialog. Search box edit.
it takes you to this quick settings. I'm going to type in rib, R-I-B.
Virtual ribbon menu. 1 of 1 search results. 1 search results list box. Virtual ribbon menu not checked. General option.
Okay. So JAWS has a feature called virtual ribbon.
Checked.
And I checked that.
Okay. File.
Okay. So now when I go into the ribbon,
Menu C. Lower ribbon. Blank. Leaving menus. Menu. Leaving. File tab button drop. Upper ribbon. Ribbon tabs tab. Home tab as pop up. Share tab as pop up. 2 of 3. Leaving menus. Leaving ribbons. File tab button drop.
okay. This is a bad place to show this, but
Search box.
I'm going to go into Word because I think I can explain it a little bit better.
Lost focus. Meeting document 1 word.
Okay. So
Document 1 word. Ribbon. File tab. Edit. Virtual ribbons. Home tab. Insert tab. Home. Lower ribbon. Clipboard sub menu.
okay, so you're familiar with Word, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Leaving
with the
menus.
virtual ribbon feature turned on, it takes all of that mess that you have in the ribbon and makes it into like a menu. Okay?
Uh-huh.
So if I press Alt,
Virtual ribbons. Home tab.
now I got the Home tab there, so I'm going to down arrow.
Leaving menu bar. Lower ribbon. Clipboard submenu. Clipboard submenu. Font submenu. Paragraph submenu.
I'm just arrowing down.
Wow.
It takes all of these controls and puts them into submenus.
Font submenu.
So like if I go to
clipboard submenu.
Clipboard and right arrow.
Paste split button as pop-up. Cut button unavailable. Copy button unavailable. Format painter button.
There's all those controls.
Wow.
Leaving menu. Edit.
Yeah.
Tell me the JAWS steps that you took to make
Okay,
that.
I'll show you the way to do it universally. And I'll email you these instructions as well.
Oh, good. Okay.
So I'm gonna hit the JAWS key and the F2.
Run JAWS Manager dialog.
That gets me to the Run JAWS Manager. I'm gonna hit S.
Script Manager. Settings Center 7.
Till I get to Settings Center. Enter.
Edit. Word JAWS Settings Center dialog.
And now I'm gonna. So like let's do
JAWS Settings Center default all.
I hit Control-Shift-D to get to default. So that's this change will apply to everything.
Everything. Good.
Not Word, anything I do. Okay. So I'm in a search field. You notice all these like JAWS and Windows, they got a lot of search fields. It sure makes things a lot easier. I'm gonna type in RIB.
Highlight virtual ribbon 1. 2 search results list box. Highlight virtual. Use virtual ribbon menu not checked. Miscellaneous.
And there it is. I typed in RB. I down arrowed. You'll notice now that that's kind of the thing you do when you do a search. You type what you're looking for, and then you down arrow. Okay, so I'm gonna hit space.
Checked.
And if I tab here, there's a little help.
Read only edit. Select this checkbox to turn on the virtual ribbon menu. When it is on, the ribbon is organized and navigated using the traditional menu and submenu format.
And I just tabbed to OK.
Apply button. OK button.
And it's set
Document
for everywhere.
Oh, that is so cool. Okay.
You just made Tracy's life so much easier.
Yes.
I think I did.
Open participants panel.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Alert. Bob Barnes raised hand.
Bob got a question.
Alert here.
Bob, you there with us?
There you are.
I find the file options in the old control panel. It's still there. And I can get into that multi-tab dialog without bothering with a ribbon. Because even with the virtual ribbon turned on, JAWS doesn't effectively render all of the ribbons. Some of them are still pretty tough. In fact, sometimes I have to deal with the ribbons using the JAWS cursor if I have to mess with the ribbons. But the file options that let you choose details and a bunch of other things and set how File Explorer comes up, whether it comes up at this PC or where you last left it,
right,
are all in there. In the file options in the old control panel.
Bob, I have to give you some props for that book you recommended a couple of weeks ago, Windows 10, the Missing Manual. That is awesome. I started reading that and I love it. That's great.
Yeah, that's helped me a lot, and it's still current.
Another thing, I had it and it just went. Where'd it go?
You
have a question?
Real quick. If you have Microsoft Office 2016, they added a feature in Word, Excel, basically everywhere. And so say you're thinking, I want to insert a table, but I can't remember how to do it. If you hit Alt-Q, it puts you in a search field and you can type in like a few letters of the command you're looking for and then do that whole down arrow thing. And you can find any command in either Word or Excel or whatever. You just arrow down to it, hit enter, boom, takes you right there.
Liz has a question. Go ahead, Liz.
Okay.
There you are.
Zoomtext, is it going to work with that also for those ribbons that I haven't used a computer or laptop in quite a while because mine doesn't work anymore. But I remember those ribbons and I didn't like them. Will that work with Zoomtext too? Because that's what they're going to put on my laptop.
Yes. Yes, it will.
Okay. And what was the name of that book?
Windows 10, The Missing Manual. It's on Bard.
Okay.
You can find it on there. It really, it's a good nerd book. It goes through everything you wanted to know and didn't want to know about Windows 10.
That's considered leisure reading for Sean.
But it's a quick reference for like if I'm having trouble, because I think that's what's.
It's not a quick reference, but it's a reference.
Okay. And I did finally get my Zoom turned, or my Bard books turned on, so that was good too.
Excellent.
You do have to go through a computer. You can't do it through the app. Yeah, and when you don't have a computer, it makes it a little trickier.
Yeah, I bet.
But I ordered one from Computers for the Blind, so I'll be there sooner or later.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, that's it.
Got any more questions, anybody?
One thing I was going to mention, Sean, is for me, when I started learning a new screen reader, be it a NVDA or Narrator or JAWS, but especially NVDA or Narrator, I like to know what the key commands are.
Oh, you're so right.
I like to have a list of them so I can go through them and try it, out each one. And I believe with Narrator, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's if you hold down the caps key and you hit function 1 or F1, it'll bring up a drop-down list of all the key commands, of which there are several.
Yes.
Narrator.
So we're back in Narrator here. And if I press caps lock and F1.
Search all commands window.
Oh, there we go. We got another search.
Stop reading. Control. 1 of 201. Selected.
There you go, Kevin. You got 201 commands to learn. No, you really don't. You really don't. I think that's one thing that people always get a little anxious about. They're like, wow, JAWS got thousands of commands. How am I going to learn all those? You don't have to. You use what you need,
Do primary action. Narrator plus enter. Move to next item. Narrator plus right.
So I'm going to go back here to
Scope. Stop reading. Search box.
This search box. Let's type in SPEE.
Increase voice speed. Narrator plus plus. 1 of 2.
So I typed in SPEE, and it took me right there to the command, which is Narrator plus. So caps lock plus the plus button.
Speed increased to 45. Speed increased to 50%. Speed decreased to 40. Speed decreased to 40%.
How fast can this screen reader read, John?
Oh, gosh. Can anybody understand that?
See, I think when you make it faster, it makes you a more attentive listener because you really have to focus on what it's saying.
Increase voice speed. Narrator plus plus. 1 of 2. Selected.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I can. I can understand.
Speed decrease.
And that's kind of what, that's kind of a part of learning to use a screen reader is eventually.
Speed decrease. Increase voice speed. Narrator plus plus.
So
1 of 2.
Eventually that's going to be like, oh, that's too slow. So
speed increase to 45%.
You increase it a little bit.
Search box. Increase voice.
You get used to it, and then you.
Speed increase to 55%. Search box. Edit.
And eventually, you'll be trucking along fast like we do.
Yeah, it's all about consuming that information more quickly because you want to, you want to get it and get to the point. And if it's talking slow in the beginning, a little faster.
Another keyboard command for Narrator, which is quite useful, is the caps lock, which the caps lock is the narrator key. So you might hear me earlier when we were talking to Tracy about the JAWS key, which is the 0 on the keypad. Well, the caps lock as well. It can work as the JAWS key. So anyway, caps lock and 1.
Input learning on.
Turns on what's called input learning. JAWS calls it keyboard help, which I think is more reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go over here and do caps lock F1.
F1, show commands list.
If I do, let's see, caps lock plus.
Equal sign, increase voice speed. Hyphen, decrease voice speed.
So it tells you, it lets you get on the keyboard and
Control.
hit all the keys.
Control, Alt, Windows, Alt, Alt, Control, left arrow, right arrow, Control.
Lets you hit everything and find out what it does. And when you want to turn it off, you just press caps lock and the 1 on the keyboard here.
1. Toggle input learning. Press again to turn off.
Oh.
1. Input learning off.
That is such a helpful feature, because years ago when I was learning some of these commands, I was so afraid that I would be trying to do different combinations to learn how the screen reader worked, and I would like accidentally maybe hit the self-destruct button or something on the laptop.
Yeah, that's everybody's fear is, I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna break it. And, I mean, you can't. You're not gonna break it. I mean, you pour a bottle of water on it, you're gonna break it. But just using it, you're not gonna break it. You might get lost, but hey, it's good to get lost on the computer because that's how you learn. If you don't get lost and you're not gonna learn. It doesn't happen overnight. You're not gonna learn overnight unless you're super smart.
Sean and I make this look easy, but again, like what Sean's saying, it's something we've had to develop over years of use.
I've used JAWS since '95. So that's 25 years. I think we talked about this before. If you go to freedomscientific.com and go to their training center, they have a certification testing, take on JAWS and Zoomtext and all that. Boy, it's hard. If you're a JAWS user and you want to find out how much you know, go take that. You'll find out how much you don't know.
Yeah, and for those of you that are listening, maybe again, this is a lot of new territory. I think we would certainly encourage you to become more familiar with the keyboard, work on your keyboarding, on your typing, because the more familiar you are, the more comfortable you are with the keyboard, the better, the easier of a transition to a screen reader will be.
Any more questions out there?
Bob has his hand up. Go ahead, Bob.
I think, I'll generalize on that last point. It's often good to separate the job of learning and the job of doing a task. If you try to learn the keyboard while you're trying to buy something online or send an email or something, you're likely to get frustrated because you're trying to do too much at once. So, set aside time to learn what you need to learn when you're not actually trying to accomplish something else, and you'll do a lot better.
That's a great point.
Very well said, Bob. Very, very well said. In fact, there are some typing tutor softwares available, aren't there, Sean?
There are. There's, unfortunately, most of them are not free, but two good ones I can think of would be Typability, which is actually, I think, I want to say Freedom Scientific sells it, And the great thing about it is it teaches you not only how to type, but also teaches you the modifier keys and JAWS commands as well.
Tell me if I'm out of date here, but I want to say it was at some point Computers for the Blind had a typing software.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's typing teacher or tutor. Torture, something. If you buy a Computers for the Blind computer, and even if you've bought one, and I think you can call them back and say, hey, I want the typing teacher, they'll give you a number to call, and you basically just tell, it's Marvel Soft is the company that sells typing teacher. You can get it for $10. Now you give them a credit card, they give you a code. I think you can either download. I think it comes installed regardless on the computer. You just have to be able to type in the serial code and unlock it. So $10 is great because it's normally $100.
So maybe Liz, if you're listening out there, when you get yours, that will probably come standard, right, Sean?
Yeah, I think you do have to call them. So you might call Computers for the Blind and let them know you want that. And they'll get you squared away on that. Another point is, if you're learning this stuff, set aside some time each day to use it every day. If you try to do it once a week, no, you just need to kind of like immerse yourself in it. Just make it a daily task.
Any questions, comments?
Liz has her hand up. Go ahead, Liz.
I have to get that unmute box clicked. Another new Zoom feature. Okay, that little track box thing that comes in before the keyboard on the laptops now.
Yes.
I cannot use that thing, so I always hook a mouse up to mine. Is that going to be an issue with some of these features that we're learning here?
Nope. No.
Cool. Okay.
And that's a good thing to mention here too. Is if you're a blind user learning to use a screen reader, it's a good idea to turn that trackpad off, because what happens a lot of times is you'll be typing and your wrist will touch that pad, and all of a sudden you're typing at the bottom of the document or in the middle of a sentence.
A different document completely.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
That's why I do not like that thing.
I know. I even plug up an external keyboard to use that, but
I do that too. That was my next question. And for Zoomtext, when I got the first one like 10 years ago, it came with a special keyboard. Is that something I'm going to need to do?
You can get that from freedomscientific.com. You can purchase one.
Still got the one.
Oh, you still got the old? That's a good question. I don't know if it'll work or not, but.
Or can I use a regular keyboard?
Yeah, I mean, you can use either. I know they make a special Zoomtext keyboard that has extra buttons on it to control Zoomtext, and I didn't know if that's what you were talking about, but yeah, you can use any external keyboard if you just want to use it for the keyboard portion.
Okay. To me, when I looked at it, was like bigger keys and
large print.
Large print and like better contrast and stuff. But it also looked confusing because there was those extra buttons. Okay.
Cool.
Good news. I can't wait for my computer to get here.
New open.
Tracy has a question too. Hi, Tracy.
Hey, yes. Where do we go to turn off that track thing pad.
Oh, you would ask that.
Search, right, Sean? Do we go to search?
It is. It varies. It varies by manufacturer. If you have a Dell, sometimes it is, and it's a laptop. Well, yeah, obviously it's a laptop, but a trackpad. FN F5 on some Dells will turn it off. It's actually like a toggle. So I think the first press turns off the trackpad. The second one turns off that little, I don't know what it's called, but there's a little stick usually between the G and H key, just below it. There's like a little, I don't even know what that's for. So if anybody knows, I'd be glad to tell me. But you can turn that off as well. So sometimes that'll mess you up. But
what are you saying? FN or F5 will turn off this
FN. So FN is so on most laptops, they have an extra key to the left of the space bar. So bottom left corner, you have control. Usually you have control and you have FN or function, Windows, Alt, and space. So you press, you press that FN key and the F5 on a Dell. I've heard sometimes it's FN and Shift. HP is maybe FN Escape. I mean, it varies. But yeah, you're basically, if you Google it and you know your brand and model, you might be able to Google how do you turn off the trackpad.
Okay. And it's called the trackpad?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else got a burning question or suggestion or oops, forgot to turn Jaws back on.
You're flying blind.
That's a good suggestion, Kevin.
How do you fly when you're blind?
No, has anybody heard of Flying Blind? It's a newsletter. And if you look for it online, it's really quite good information. They send it out every week, and it's got all kinds of learning tips for learning screen readers and phones, and it's got good information.
We can send that out in the.
We will. Yeah, we will. I'll send Rebecca the link. I'm subscribed and I get it once a week. It's really good information in there. Jerry's got a question.
Jerry, you with us?
Yes. Yes, I am. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
When you have a phone, when you've got it locked with facial recognition, how do you unlock it wearing a face mask?
That's a great question. And the reason is, so the iPhone, iOS 13.5 came out yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And it's a software update for the iPhone. One of the additions or updates in there is that it improves the Face ID for wearing a mask. It's either that or there was, I know I read something along those lines that you can unlock your phone. It takes that into account.
So
thank you.
That's a great question.
I'm so glad I read that What's New yesterday.
Otherwise, you'd be like, I guess it would have to memorize the upper part of your face, right? They'd have to catalog that and recognize it. This is your face before a mask. This is your face after a mask.
My goodness, we've kept 17 people entertained for the past hour and a half. It's impressive.
It is impressive. Any questions, any other comments, guys, observations? I know we've got some folks out there probably listening who are maybe just kind of dipping their toe into the water a little bit, and others who've been at this for a while. And I think the takeaway for some might be that there are options. There are more options now with a lot of software being built into things than ever before, I feel. What is that other software, Sean, that's on the computer? It may be a Windows-based, but it's basically like the Windows equivalent of Siri. What is that called?
Cortana.
Cortana. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Is that something that you have access to?
I don't have it set up. You know, it's kind of funny because so Siri, I think, was first, and then I think Google came out with something, and then we had Lady A, and then Microsoft came up with Cortana. Like nobody's heard of that before. And I think they realized it because it's just not really gone anywhere. But hey, it works pretty much the same as all of them do.